Schneider.
Danielle.
Danielle, good to meet you.
Yes.
This is Allison Prosecution Services. I'm the Assistant DA over here. I prosecute criminal cases.
Okay.
Misdemeanors to felonies.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Okay.
We don't have anything to do with family cases.
Okay. I'm not here for the case.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. I didn't know what you were here for. I just, telling you who we were.
I mean, I say I'm not here for the case, but something happened to me. I was assaulted when I was in labor. That the big picture may have to do with the case, but people aren't seeing it that way. I feel like the reason that we don't have our baby right now has something maybe to do with that part of it. It's speculation, but we've been trying to put these puzzle pieces together for 4 months and nobody's helping us. And we tried filing a police report with the sheriff about a month ago, and I told him everything that I knew, and he said that he was going to investigate, and then after the investigation they would bring it to the DA. And he specifically said the DA in Calhoun County, I believe, Brian McVeigh.
Yeah.
So
That's my boss.
Okay.
We since this county is so small,
yeah,
we have one DA for both of these counties.
Okay.
So I'm like an assistant.
I see. Okay.
So Brian's my boss.
I see. Okay. So when we made that report, we were told it would be investigated, and then because it was an assault, and he would get back with us. So after about 2-3 weeks, we hadn't heard anything, so we finally went back to the sheriff, and the investigator we had been working with said that he wasn't able to investigate, that he took it right to the DA, and the DA said no, that it doesn't warrant a criminal investigation, which I don't understand how you can say something doesn't warrant a criminal investigation without an investigation. And I'm not sure who he spoke to, but when we went and we spoke to Brian McVeigh last week, Brian McVeigh said it wasn't him that was spoken to. So I'm not sure who was spoken to, but I'm here looking for help because I was assaulted. And whether it has to do with the family case or whether it doesn't,
right,
it was a separate event that happened, and I've been trying to seek help, and I don't know who it is that did it to me. And then people can say, well, was it an assault or was it not? You were pregnant. You called 911. But this person was a civilian, not dressed in uniform. We didn't call her. We called 911. We called an ambulance. And this person stuck her hand inside of me as I'm bleeding, as I'm screaming no, as I'm having a major contraction waiting for the ambulance to come. She sticks her hand up in me, and I've said no at least 3 times. My husband heard me because he was sidetracked over here with somebody else distracting him because I was holding on to somebody else. And he came over and said, what's going on? And I said, they're touching me. And I was surrounded by people, and we called 911, but these were civilians that showed up.
Where was this at?
Asst State Park at the lake. Far off, not at the lake, but far off, kind of into the woods. The lake's here. We were like all the way over here. We called 911. We were trying to have a natural birth.
On your cell phone or something?
On our cell phone. We have a 911 call at 6:29 p.m. Our 911 call is actually missing. We called 4 different counties. It's nowhere to be found. The only call that is found is this one somebody, I don't know who, a name's blacked out. We went to the 911 center. The 911 call, somebody else called apparently and said a woman in her 20s, I'm 33, thank you, but a woman in her 20s is having pregnancy complications. This was about 15 minutes after we had already called. So I don't know how somebody would have known that we called 911 because we were completely alone by ourselves, and we called 911, and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of people appeared, and the superintendent of the state park said that they were civilians.
Did you have like a living quarters? You in a tent?
We were camping.
Okay.
We were camping.
Okay. Like in a tent?
We were in a tent, but I was walking around while I was in labor.
Happened, you were walking around? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wasn't sitting, laying down, whatever. I was standing because I was in a lot of pain, waiting for the ambulance. So,
Right.
I was holding on to my husband. I was holding on to a chair. I was doing what I had to do to just be comfortable and doing what you normally do in labor. You know, you walk.
Yeah.
So, all I know is we called 911, and then a security officer from the park showed up. Now I just met with somebody at Asst State Park because I've been trying to put the pieces together for 4 months now. I just met with somebody who's
Park ranger. I know they have a park ranger up there, I think.
they have security.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called. There was multiple of them, but his name's Freddie Sandlin. He showed up with a radio. He was radioing the superintendent of the state park. And at that point, I had been bleeding a little bit. That's why we called 911. Because I had been in labor for, I started on Saturday, and that was Sunday night. And my husband got concerned, and he's like, all right, that's it. We're calling it. We're calling 911. So, so Freddie shows up, and then he radios the superintendent. The superintendent apparently sends her niece, Amber Smith, down, who is a nurse. So she came down, but she didn't feel comfortable doing what that other woman did because she knows that she's not qualified to do that. So she didn't. She just kind of checked my vitals. I let her do that. That was fine. And then all of a sudden, Tammy Power, the superintendent, shows up with 2 other people, 2 or 3. My husband says 3. I don't really remember. I just remember this one lady, this other man, and I guess there was another man standing there, but I didn't associate with him. These 3 people show up. This one woman kept saying, we have to make sure your baby's healthy. I have to check. I'm like, that's why I called 911. Please don't touch me. Right. She's wearing jeans, a t-shirt. I don't know who she is. I asked if she had a badge. She said no. I didn't want her anywhere near me when I'm bleeding and I'm about to give birth to a baby. So, all I know is I was standing up. I was holding on to Tammy at that point because they sidetracked Christian back over here, my husband, and he was talking to somebody else. And she rips my leg open and says, I have to check. I'm yelling no. I'm standing up. She's on the ground. She's trying to, it's dark. It's dark at that point, so nothing can be seen. I'm standing there. She opens my leg, and then all of a sudden I feel her going in there. I close my leg. She says, no, I have to check your baby. She opens my leg again. I'm yelling no. I'm waiting. You have to understand. I'm in pain. I'm in labor. I called 911. I did not call these people. I don't know who these people are. So, she ends up getting up in there, and as I'm saying no, and then like a quick, like a second long examination, she decides to tell everybody around that I'm breech, which I wasn't. I gave birth to the baby head first, completely engulfed in the sack, by the way. My water never broke. I delivered the sack. And she said that I was breech and then I was 3 centimeters dilated. Well, a half hour later at the hospital, I'm 9 centimeters dilated and not breech. So I don't know if this woman has credentials. I don't know if she knows what she's doing. She completely violated me. She completely hurt me, and I can't get anything accomplished with this. I've tried. I went to the police, and they said that the DA said it's not a crime. So I don't know what to do. I don't know if it was you that the sheriff department talked to. That was it you?
I mean, we have talked about the
with Brian Tumlin.
I've talked to Tumlin about it.
So then he said that you said that it doesn't warrant an assault, that to not investigate it.
It's going to depend on the facts of each individual case. I mean,
Those are the facts.
Yeah. Okay.
And it hasn't been investigated.
Okay. Well, let me
when somebody is in labor and somebody is bleeding and a civilian in a t-shirt and jeans shows up, not with the ambulance, she was a civilian, and it was testified on the stand by Tammy Power, the superintendent.
I don't know.
That's not an assault.
Have privy to anything yet.
I don't care about any of that. That's fine. Yeah. Is that not an assault?
I mean, it could be. It depends on what situation it was in.
But you have to investigate it to find out, right?
Most of the time it's investigated, yes.
But so why hasn't it been investigated this time? It's been a month.
Yeah. Let me speak to Investigator Tomlin.
Sure, but can you tell me why it hasn't been investigated? Because he told me that you said not to investigate it.
I'm sure he's looked into it.
He hasn't. He doesn't have any names. And I told him names to find out who this woman is, and he doesn't have her name. And I just spoke to somebody at Chiaha State Park that's about to do her own investigation.
Does she work at the park?
Yes.
Okay. The woman that touched you work at the park, you think?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about this woman. I have no idea where she came from. Her and another man with black hair, I have no idea where he came from. They claimed to be nurses. They were wearing jeans and a t-shirt. They said they were eating at the restaurant. I have no idea who these people are and where they came from, but I was physically assaulted, and nobody is listening to me.
Okay.
And I'm not doing this in retaliation because of the case. This is something totally different. However, when I put the pieces together, it could potentially play into the big picture. I don't know why these people are doing this to us at Chiaha State Park. I don't know why then the Chiaha State Park called and made lies about us to get our baby taken away from us. I don't know why these things are happening, but I'm trying to put the pieces together, and I'm getting roadblocks left and right, and I am a victim.
Okay.
And I'm being told that people are telling the sheriffs to not investigate my assault. So I'm very upset.
I'll talk to the investigator, okay?
About what? I just want to know, like, where, like, what's the next step?
I'll talk to someone about looking into it more, developing it more.
I mean, according to him, he didn't look into it at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he was told not to.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's never too late to investigate it. It's not like something that can't be,
Right.
done.
Exactly, but I'm just, you have to understand my
Right.
how upset I am and my frustration, because
When was the first time you filed a report of it?
I have been trying for the last 2 months. I tried in Anniston, they told me to go here. I mean, it's been at least a couple months, but you have to understand my baby was taken. So for the first 2 months, I was focused on that. And now I'm like, all of these things are happening, and now I'm thinking about everything step by step by step. I was assaulted. This happened. This lie happened. This person called DHR. This person called DHR. It's crazy to me. I am a completely God-loving, normal person that may have different beliefs than some people. I was a missionary traveling by foot for a little bit, but I have a place to live. I have a car. I have all of these things. And people are attacking us. I'm getting assaulted, and everybody's just smiling and saying, "Oh, well, whatever happens."
Whatever your beliefs are, we don't operate like that. Not the DA's op. We don't care what you believe or how you believe. We can treat everybody the same.
I hope so, but you have to understand that I haven't been treated the same this entire process. I'm being told that my report isn't going to be taken. I'm being told that my assault doesn't matter. That it's not up to criminal standards to have a woman while you're in labor stick her hand up in you and violate you when you're yelling no. I've been told that's not criminal.
Well, like I said, I'll talk to someone, okay? And
So I just want to know where I go from here.
Yeah.
Because
let me talk to Investigator Tomlin. And what did Brian say when you talked to him?
he said that you told him that he needs to not investigate it.
No, Brian McVeigh.
Brian McVeigh said he was going to, I mean, they've already subpoenaed 911 calls. They're trying to figure it out because, but that's the other thing. I called Clay County, Cleburne County, Talladega County, and Calhoun County, every single 911 center, and not one person can find our call that's in our cell phone from calling 911 that night. So our phone call has disappeared. I've called every single one. The only one they gave us.
Did y'all have a conversation with them? I mean, did you?
With who? 911?
Yeah.
We have every call recorded, yes.
You tried to get them?
We have every call recorded of trying to get our 911 call, and nobody can find it. So the only call that has come through, apparently, even though we spent 9 minutes on the phone with 911, is somebody calling saying there was a pregnant woman in her 20s at the lake having complications. That person that called wouldn't have known that unless they knew we called. So somewhere, somehow, our 911 call, my husband's 911 call about me is missing, and we're trying to get to the bottom of why all of this is happening. Why are things being covered up?
Yeah. Well, why do you think what do you think would help prove your case if you did find a 911 call?
It's not about proving me a case. I'm trying to show you that there are things being covered up, and I don't know what it is.
Well, I'll show you we're not covering up anything.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying there are things being covered up. And I'm trying to just get the right things done, the lawful things done. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just only reporting what happened, and nothing's being done about it.
Yeah. Let me look into it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'll see what I can do with that.
That would be really helpful. I'm a grieving mother.
I understand that.
But that aside, I'm also a victim of an assault that's not being looked into. And that assault could potentially have something to do with why I'm a grieving mother. It could potentially be part of the same thing. I don't really know. Because that part is being covered up, and I don't know why. And it was 24 hours, 33 hours before he was taken from me. For no reason. So...
Do you think that somehow the two are related? The assault versus...
It's too many coincidences. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So...
And your family case now, is it in Calhoun County?
It's...
Anniston?
I mean, everything's going through this court, but the judge is over there.
Okay, the judge is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me look into it.
I'm having a very hard time trusting anybody right now because when I speak truth, it goes nowhere. I can't tell anybody what's really happened to me. I can't tell anybody what's really happened to our family without people sitting there and saying, I'll look into it, and then nothing happens. So I need somebody to finally step up and tell me why an assault is not good enough to be investigated. If you find after an investigation that there's nothing to it, fine, but it hasn't been investigated.
Okay. I understand your frustration.
Mm-hmm. And I came to you because I know you're a victim advocate, and does that not sound like a victim of an assault? I mean, so I just don't know where to go.
Right.
So I came to you because I'm in here every day, filing things and looking at things, and I actually just found out you were a victim advocate. I'm like, well, maybe she can help. I'm going to everybody at this point, and my husband would be here. He usually is, but he's working, so just looking for compassion somewhere, because we haven't had any this entire time. So, thank you for listening.
You're fine. I understand your frustration.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine having a child taken from me.
Mm-hmm. And for it to be because of beliefs and nothing else, because there isn't anything else and no evidence, that it's devastating to me. So.
Y'all have a lawyer? Are you going that means or not?
We've had 4, and everyone's on the same team, is all I have to say. We get things done much better when it's just us. We're intelligent people, so we can handle it.
I'm not saying you're not.
Just a minute, we have somebody with us.
I'll just put this in Eric's box.
Thank you.
I'm not saying you're not intelligent.
No, I wasn't trying to be defensive about that. I'm just saying that we were represented by court-appointed attorneys. Wasn't really working out very well, and then we represented ourselves, and I feel like my husband did a fantastic job, and he did so good of a job that they appointed somebody else. It's not really working out. We're still friends with them, but it's just not working out legally. because things are being covered up and nobody wants to open the can of worms. So it's very frustrating.
Okay. Give me some time. Let me look into the situation.
Okay.
We've been so busy today. I ain't even know I've been in the office.
Yeah.
You know, that's just been one of those days.
Mhm.
We have days like that.
Now, when Brian Tumlin had come to you, did he investigate at all?
Yes, he looked into it.
Because he said he didn't. He said that he was told not to.
Yeah.
And that's why there was no report. I only saw one half of the report.
No one took a report.
Well, he wrote down things, but I only saw... So I haven't seen the report. Am I allowed to see it?
No.
Right.
No.
So how am I supposed to know what he put down on this piece of paper? Because I'm not allowed to see my own report for my own assault.
At this point, I can't disseminate it. That's your understanding, Allison, from the victim's report? Yeah. It's not public record as of now.
Is there a reason you keep smiling at me? I'm not.
I'm not smiling. I'm just trying to make you more comfortable, yes. I mean, I'm not smiling at you.
I feel like you're smirking at me whenever you say something. Maybe it's just...
I'm not smirking. I'm sitting here talking to you.
Okay. Can you explain to me why Brian Tumlin told me that you told him not to investigate it?
But, man, if there's a good Samaritan, if they're trying to help you out, that's not a crime.
A good Samaritan trying to help me out by sticking her hand in me while I'm screaming no and I'm bleeding, and that is not okay to do that when someone is bleeding and about to have a baby. This woman may not even be a nurse.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I think you're putting words in my mouth.
You just said somebody was just trying to help me, a good Samaritan.
I'm just saying if that's what happened.
But how are you going to find that out unless it's investigated?
You have to understand we're not an investigator.
The sheriff is. The sheriff department is an investigator, and they told me that you told them to end it and to not investigate it. Is that true?
I will talk to Tumlin about it, okay?
Is that true?
Ma'am, I'm not going to answer specific questions. I mean, you're sitting here accusing me of throwing off a criminal investigation, which I would never do.
I am not accusing you. I'm asking him a question.
Okay? Don't accuse me.
I'm not accusing you. I'm asking you a question.
Derailing a criminal investigation.
Can you answer me a question of why Brian Tumlin told me that you said that to stop and do not investigate it?
If there's not a crime, there's nothing to investigate.
So there's not a crime of somebody putting their hand in me and while I'm yelling no.
I didn't say that's not a crime. What I'm telling you, I will talk to Tumlin and we will investigate it. Okay.
Okay.
The case is not closed. Okay.
Then
Don't accuse me of derailing your criminal investigation.
I am not accusing you. I'm asking you a question and you're not answering me.
What?
Brian Tumlin told me, and I have this recorded, he told me that you told him to not investigate it. Is that correct?
No.
Okay.
But you have to understand, I had many conversations regarding cases. And if it feels really to me there's not a crime, there would be no need for an investigation.
Okay, so was that the case?
But purposely, I do not tell somebody to
not
investigate
fine.
something.
So was that the case in this situation? Is that why he's telling me that you told him not to investigate? Because you think that that's not a crime?
I would have to look back and see. It's probably been weeks since I talked to him.
It has been, because it was weeks ago since I put a report in for my assault.
But, don't accuse me of doing something.
Did I accuse him?
Derailing something, because that's the message.
Or did I ask a question? I'm not accusing you. I asked you a question because Brian Tumlin told me you specifically said do not investigate, and he said not to.
He said Eric Snyder said do not investigate.
He said the assistant DA, and you said that you're the one that talked to him.
Yeah.
The assistant DA.
Maybe there was a miscommunication, okay?
And he told me
now,
to come to the courthouse and put in a deposition myself so that he doesn't get in trouble.
Maybe there was a miscommunication. But listen to what I'm telling you now.
Okay.
If I asked him to investigate it, I'm sure he'll do that.
Okay. And am I able to put in a deposition on my own?
Yes.
Like Brian Temlin told me to do?
Yes. You sure are.
And it will be investigated?
Yes.
Well, depositions don't get investigated. Depositions is your word to the court.
Only the reports do, correct?
Well, the I&Os are that's their report, and that's where they start, is with what you said, and then they take it farther from there. But when you do a deposition is when you're ready to file criminal charges, and the magistrates, which are in the clerk's office, decide whether or not there's enough.
Which I haven't been able to do because Warren Sorrell said that I don't have a name. So I went to Brian Tumlin and I told him everything I knew, and I told him the names that were there to go talk to those people to get a name of the person that did it.
Right.
And he was told to not investigate it, so there's no name.
Okay. Well, I think what Eric is trying to say is that he's going to talk to Brian, and they'll investigate further, and then we can give you our cards, and we can let you know what they come up with, and they can file you can file a deposition, but without a name, they're right, it won't go anywhere.
Right, which is I can't find a name. I mean, I'm going to try, but I thought that's what the police are for. I thought that when you give a report to the police officer, they investigate, they find a name, and then you're able to do what you need to do.
Right, and that's what we're going to try and get Brian to start going and investigating for you and trying to help, okay?
Because this has been a month now.
Right.
And he said that the assistant DA told him to not investigate it.
Okay.
So, and then you're saying that you don't always investigate if you don't think it's a crime. So I'm trying to put those pieces together. So was there a point in time where my assault was considered not a crime and to not investigate it?
No, never say your assault is not a crime.
Because that's kind of what he was insinuating.
Yeah.
That it didn't meet the level of a crime, so to not investigate it is what he said.
Maybe there's just some miscommunications between.
Nobody would ever.
Do you know how many miscommunications have been against our family for the last 4 months?
Look, I'm not against your family, okay?
I didn't say you were.
That's the feeling I'm getting. I mean, we're not against you, okay? We'll do everything we can to look into it.
Please do, because this is not. It's not right to be assaulted. I went to the hospital, and I was open to treatment by professionals. I'm not throwing other people under the bus and saying that they entered me. I didn't ask for this woman who had nothing to do with 911 to enter me as I'm yelling no. If you went to that scene, if we could go back in time, you probably would have called 911 on this woman that did this to me, because it was that gruesome of a scene at that point. And nobody's hearing me. It's very frustrating, and I'm sorry that I'm frustrated, but...
I understand your frustration.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk with Brian, and we'll get him, okay, and see what we can start doing from here, okay?
Okay, that would be great. That's all I ask, is just the right thing to be done. That's it. I'm not looking for extra treatment, just the right thing. What would anybody else do? Somebody comes in with an assault that doesn't have a family court case going on. What would happen? It would be investigated. So I feel discriminated against because lies are perpetrated against us to have our child taken. I feel discriminated against. Whether that's happening or not, it's how I feel.
Right.
So I'm just trying to make the right things happen here. Finally. So I thank you for your time.
No problem.
We can give you a card.
Okay,
If you have questions,
that's great.
whatnot, we can give it a call.
Do you work out of this office usually, or?
This is where I'm at.
Okay.
That's my card.
Okay.
I'm always at this office as well, so.
Okay.
Okay, just let us know if you have any questions or how we can help, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Is Barbara still here?
Yeah.
I don't know if there was anything for me before I leave.